part 3. My name is Chris from christopherhole.com, and in this final video we're going to be looking at how to overcome the disc herniation. Now, if we watched video 2, we'll already be familiar with this graph. So what we're going to spend most of our time doing is using this second graph on the right hand side. I will apply back to the original graph, hence why it's on the screen. But we don't want to spend too much time talking about what we've already talked about. We want to get onto the solution and how we can overcome our disc herniation. Now, if we just quickly overview the second video, basically, if we repeatedly bend our spine, which are these lines here, repeated bending, our margin for safety comes down. So our failure tolerance comes down. If we repeatedly bend our spine with a load, our disc will fail, so our disc will herniate. So what we need to be able to do is what's in this graph, which is rest. We need to allow the muscles of our back, of our spine, to rest, because they're the ones that are keeping it stable and in position. So by repeatedly bending the spine, we fatigue those muscles. If we continue to fatigue them, our back will fail. If we give them a rest, our failure tolerance will increase back up to where original, or it will go higher than before. What that then allows us to do is go back to repeatedly bending, well, essentially not repeatedly bending the spine, but I can talk about that in further videos. But if we do bend the spine, then it allows us to do that. Obviously, the failure tolerance will come down again. If we rest, then it will go back up again. So hopefully you can sort of see the general trend in what is being talked about in this video. Now, when I talk about rest, I don't just mean the rest in between any exercises that you do, or if you've picked up a box, then you give yourself 30 seconds rest, you can pick up another box. It doesn't just mean the rest in between repeated bending. It means also the amount of sort of rest between if you were going into a gym, or if you were repeatedly lifting boxes for your job, it would be to rest at home, so overnight. So, you know, going home and not having a million sort of boxes to lift again, because again, that's not necessarily resting the spine. That's only going to fatigue them even more, which is going to make this tolerance lower for the morning when you come back to doing your job. So if we use the example of exercise, it's not just the amount of rest that you give yourself in between the reps and the sets that you do. It's also the amount of rest you give yourself between each workout. So it's very important that you get that right amount of rest. Now, rest doesn't just mean sitting on a sofa. It could mean things like having a massage in that area of the spine, in that area of the back. Because what we're looking to do is we're looking to build the endurance of the back. Now, the strength will come initially, so your back will begin to get stronger. But if we just make it stronger, that doesn't necessarily make it stronger over a period of time, because obviously we want to be strong over a period of time. We don't just want to have a strong back for 20 minutes and then it's weak. We want to be able to have a strong back for longer periods of time. So what we need to be able to do is build the endurance. So we don't want a lot of weight, but we want to start applying load to the spine, but then we need to allow it to rest. Once we allow it to rest, it can come back with greater endurance, so it can endure more lifting, basically. So this is the key to overcoming or preventing any more disc herniations or low back pain where the disc herniation is sort of coming about. So what we need to be able to do is get the right amount of rest, not only in between the exercises or the lifting that we're doing, but also in between the workouts or the job that we do. So when we go home, we rest properly. We don't just sit on a sofa, because that's not necessarily doing the back what it wants or needs. So the key here is, number one, try to build endurance. Do a lot of a little, if that makes sense. So pick up a few boxes, do a few reps, rest. Do a few more, rest. Do a few more. Don't try and do it all at once and then have one big rest at the end. It's because we're trying to build that endurance. Okay, I think I've gone on about endurance enough. So if you want to watch more videos, there's more on the website christopherhole.com. My name is Chris from christopherhole.com. I will speak to you in another video.